Alright, so today, well, maybe a couple of videos, but today we are going to build this. This right here is the port of Osgiliath. And I will do a tutorial on how it was made. There's a building here, nice little courtyard to keep some animals, great walls, and then there's an entire docking system. One where a umber is ported, there's 2 more slots for 2 more ships, and then there's also a lower area for mounts down here. And the entire place is protected by a low stone pillar area, so leads can't get in here to destroy your ships. You don't have to worry about any leads. I actually done tests where I had them chase me in and it worked like a charm. So without further ado, I'll put up all the videos, I'll edit everything, and we're going to go ahead and run through this with a how-to. We'll see how this works out. Let me know what you guys think. Other than that, enjoy, and if something messes you up or you can't follow along, put a comment in and I'll see if I can help you out and let you know. Till then, let's go check it out. Alright guys, so as you saw, we're going to make a Gondorian seaport for Eambar, the boat that I have that I made, the long ship. So I'm going to try to do this in a bunch of stages. I don't want to have like a super long video. I just want to kind of show you guys how we did it really. So I got a bunch of materials here on Galadriel, and we're going to start off with just a bunch of pillars. And the one thing you're going to want to do is you're definitely going to want to figure out kind of where you want stuff. Like I already know I'm going to go along, try to get right along this coast here. And then I want to try to stay somewhat square for appearance. And then we're going to come along here. To about here. That looks pretty large. So we'll try to square up as best we can. It's not going to be perfect, but we'll see. And what you want to do is you want to get some scuba gear and flippers, just because it'll make your life easier. And then if you can try to square yourself kind of as best you can. I mean, it's not going to be perfect, but it should be half decent. Kind of square on the coast. Then what you want to do is you want to swim into the water. And you want to kind of go out to how far you think you're going to be. You want to find the lowest point in your little basin here. It's probably going to be about here, I think. Or, we'll go a little bit lower. Square things up. Alright. So that is going to be kind of square. Should be alright. We're going to start from here. So you want that first pillar to line up as best you can. And then we'll take extra pillars and just sink them. So that's going to pull me right across to there, which is going to be a bit shallow. So you know what, let's go a little bit. We'll go a little bit further, actually. And let's see how we're doing with depth. Depth is not bad, so maybe we'll go out a little bit more. Get rid of this first one here. Sorry if this is a lot of arting around, guys, but you want first, like I said, you want that first pillar to be kind of as straight as you can get it to the coast. Alright, let's see how well we did here. So then you're going to want to just bring this one pillar all the way across the seafloor. Now, when you reach higher spots where it's not going to let you snap it, just snap another one on top, and then it'll let you bring it across again. And then what you're trying to do is you're trying to make sure you keep that one ceiling tile. Now, if you go right beside it, there's a snap point that's like right beside it. It's not going to let me do it here because of I don't know, because it's how deep we are or something. But that's going to actually drop the height of your pillar. If you do the one tile across, then all your pillars are going to be the exact same height. Now, the trick with this, and the nice thing, is that if you do this, when you get your pillars up to where you want them to go, they are all going to be the exact same height. So you won't have any nubs. Ah, shit. Now you see how that one went right beside it? It was a mistake, but it went right beside it, slightly lower. That is what you do not want. What you want to do is make sure that they are the second distance, the full distance apart, and that will make sure that they are all the same height. And the reason I started at the lowest point is because you can build your pillars up like this into the area that you want to actually build. And the benefit with that is that everything's going to be square, everything's going to be lined up the way you want it to be, but everything's going to be connected, even if it's not square even if it's not necessarily square on the actual seafloor, or square to the bank, which we're not going to be. We're going to be a little less than square. But what we're going to do is, I think we're going to go. So that's going to square up a little like that. Put us into there. So I think we're going to stop here, and then we're going to cut across here, because I know we're not square with the bank. And I mean, it's easier to line up. It's definitely easier to line up your bank if you are building from the shore out. But when you start down low like that, you'll be able to correct any issues that you have along the way. For instance, I'm going to get to a problem right here shortly. So we're going to have to go down this lip, and depending, that's going to let me go. But then here, I'm not going to get a snap point, and there's no way that I can get a snap point. So the only option that I have is to come down to the seafloor here and bring, say, this one, and bring it across to that lower area over there. Probably a couple more. And you can get rid of a lot of these after. That's why I brought so many pillars, because I knew I was going to run through them. That should be low enough. So then take this one and then bring it across. And you can get rid of all this extra pillar stuff that you don't really need later on. But the benefit to this is, like I said, you're going to have everything the same height. Everything's going to be interlinked. So like I said, even if it's not square to your shore, which it's not going to be, everything is going to be square from a building perspective. So it's going to be easy to line everything. Oh, that should line up like that, I think. So you're gonna need one pillar there, and then you're gonna just come across to here, nice and... I hope I'm far enough. Do I need to go in there? No, I think I'm good. So I probably need one there, and then... Oh! And like I said, I don't spawn anything. I build all my materials, so that's why sometimes this can take a little bit. Alright, so that's squared up there. So then I can do that. And now that I have this low point here, and it's going to go back up, I can just carry on from my low point here. And I can carry... Oh, we don't want to build it. Let's get some more. I can carry on right to the edge. Now this is going to be probably the longest part of the video, guys. I'm going to do this until I get the basic outline set up. So I apologize if this is going to be a little bit dull and a little bit long. After I get this taken care of here, and I get the basic outline on the shore that I want, I am going to stop and do a little bit of off-camera just to get some stuff done as fast as I can and not have, you know, a 6-hour video on how to build this thing. And like I said, just walk your pillars up. You don't need a lot of pillars right now. You just need one pillar up kind of thing to get to shore. And then once you're on shore, you get rid of the damn flip-flops for sure. And then you're going to want to try to get this as square as you can to where you want this to go. And I'm trying to keep the pillars nice and low because I know there's a dip where it drops off right here. If I can walk this little edge a little bit more, then I shouldn't have to play with going down low with my pillar again, but it's going to want me to do that, and this is definitely going to be too low, so I will go up one, why not? That's going to be way too high, but like I said, if we walk it to here, and then we'll bring this across here. And we're already way too high, like I thought. So where's our lowest? Where's that gonna line me up at? That's gonna line me up. Yeah, I like it. Alright, so where's our lowest point? It's gonna be probably here. You know what? Yeah, we'll just walk it. We already walked it halfway, so. Scuba flippers again, just to make it easy. And we'll just continue walking this guy here. Now, another really good trick, guys. I won't show it because it's going to be a pain in the ass. If you're building in vanilla, or if you're on official, which all the stuff you could do on that I'm going to build, you could do on official, no problem. The only difference is you may have to alter a few things, because the one thing our server does have on is we do have the 100% collision on, so that means that we can bleed. Oh, that one's gonna need two. We can bleed our builds right into each other, which is really nice for building, because you don't have to worry about. Yeah, looks about right. And you can build things a lot lower in the ground than other stuff also. Like you may have noticed some of those pillars are right deep down. 100% collision really does help with that. Alright, if I have to, I'll go around. Let's see what happens here. Maybe I'll get lucky. Might be okay. That's gonna snap. That's gonna snap. So we got our snap points. It's like I said, it's all square. It's nice lined up. But as I was saying, sorry, building in vanilla or official, when you go and destroy all these pillars, just destroying them every couple, once you get like overburdened and have too much weight, build exactly what you're destroying. I mean, it's a pretty common sense thing. I'm sure a lot of people already do that. The only reason I'm mentioning it is because if you don't do it, it is by far the best way to make good use of your materials. Just because every time you destroy, I'm pretty sure it's like if you destroy 2 things, every time you destroy like 2 things, you manage to build 1 back. So instead of just, you know, wasting the materials, you're gonna go and just make it that much better. So that's, get your materials back so you're not wasting it. So that's a pretty big area that we have here. Quick overhead just to double check, guys. Just so you know where we are, we're just below my base at Green Obelisk right there. We're just down on the shore, right across from, I call it, you know, Herbivore Island, but it's the island with the little ranch farm where you can collect a ton of berries and stuff and make narcotics easily. So there's that. So all those pillars that are in the water are going to be gone. They actually kind of help out right now for seeing how large this is going to be, but that's pretty good. So I'm going to actually pull those pillars for the sake of my build. I'm going to pull those pillars right over to the edge of the water over there, so I pretty much will own this entire bay. And the reason I want to do that is to just give myself as much room as I can for making this harbor for the boat, because right now that would be, I mean, I got lots of room for my boat, don't get me wrong, but it will be like a tight fit for moving around and stuff. So I'm gonna go do that, guys, and I will bring you back as soon as I have the basic outline done. Alright guys, so I'm back. I wanted to bring you guys back for this next part. I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to do the far end here, but I wanted to bring you back to see the one end that I know where it's going to go, to see what I'm going to do with it, just because it might be a spot that would really trick people up. As you can see, I got rid of all the extra pillars we had down there, except I kept this one in the middle, possibly for, it's a really low point where I might be putting a dock system in, and it'll be really easy to use that point. And I kept our first pillar way over there, just for the lowest point to figure it out. And I only kept these to make sure that they're all interlinked so that everything snaps across the top. So it's just ceiling tiles, and as you can see, nothing's connected, because ARK thinks, since these are attached, ARK thinks that they are all the way up, even though they're not. So it's a nice handy way you can use that trick to build bridges and stuff. Just connect your pillars one tile in one straight row, and you can build above them. And there is no height restriction on that. But I did run into a small issue. The spots where I separated, like out here, where I built from the bottom and I came across to there, and then I had to build from the middle in, I had to put a pillar all the way up. for some reason, because it came from a different angle, I guess, it wasn't continuing to come from the edge of the water, it was coming forward. Because of that, I needed a pillar up to finish my catwalk. All of these snapped together no problem. And then this area here snapped together no problem also to about here, which if you remember is where we got stuck and we couldn't put a pillar. And then I had to bring another pillar from the middle up to snap over again. So I needed this pillar to attach because I guess these ones came from a different angle, and then everything attached no problem after that. So that's one thing to keep in mind. If you're going to build a straight bridge and you don't want any pillars going up at all, or if you wanted to do this and you don't want any pillars going up at all, do it in a way that you can make sure that you have one connecting pillar from beginning to end that isn't going to interfere. So for instance, for us, we would have brought this over a little bit more to about here, where it was higher. And then everything would have just been one pillar all the way up the bank, all the way over to here. And then instead of stopping here, we would have went over one more. And then everything would have been one pillar on the shore, and I wouldn't have had to bring those up. And then everything would have just connected, no problem, and not a big deal. I just got a wooden ramp off my boat. I keep a bunch to get up here so I could do this. This is just going to be walls straight down into the sand there. But the reason I brought you guys back was over here we're going to make a nice little kind of a design for our ending. So we're going to use this as like our starter piece, and we're going to make a little, I don't know, like a little octagon here. That's going to be the edge of our wall. Now, you've probably seen this trick a million times, so it's not really a huge deal, but at the same time, a lot of people may not know how it works, so I'm going to show it. So what you want to do is find the edge, and you want to make sure you snap on the outside edge of this. Yeah, we'll start from here. Like that. And then you're going to want to take another one of these and put it on an angle like this. So what that does is it creates a new snap point where you can put a wall here, and this is going to be a pain in the butt. I wonder... Yeah, I'm going to do this. Give me one sec. You have to snap a wall underneath also in order to snap the ceiling tile. And I mean, it's not an issue. Not here. It's not an issue to do. It's just going to be like for camera purposes. I hope this is going to be enough. For camera purposes, it'll be a real pain in the butt if I have to, like, you know, hop in the water or snap it, run all the way back here, then run all the way back here for every single one. So if I can, if we're not too high, I'm gonna try and just make a little temporary ramp here that hopefully goes, yeah, it goes right in the water. So there. So now I can come up nice and easy. So then what you want to do is come over here, grab your ceiling, and you want to make sure that you snap it right there. So you got that angle. So with that angle, that's going to allow you to take your ceiling and snap it on an angle like that. Then you can get rid of this, and I'll get rid of the ceiling, or I'll get rid of the wall that's underneath. I'll get rid of that as we go along, because it's going to be a pain in the ass. And you just have to make sure that you keep these fence foundations. Keep those foundations there. That's going to make sure that this doesn't go anywhere. Now, if you want to do it without those fence foundations, if this is going to be like your top floor or something along those lines, then you could attach a pillar. Now, this is where you get into your tricky stuff, because you're gonna attach a pillar, and the nub is gonna come through the top. I mean, you're high enough above the water, you could probably, if you go down below, you could attach a pillar and then drag it to the point where, I don't have any pillars on me, but you could drag if you look down, you can get it to snap to a second lower point, which will have the pillars show up completely flush, kind of like these guys here, where all you've got, you can't even really tell anymore if you do it correctly. Where's that pillar at? It's like right around here. Usually there's like a square right here. There's a pillar right there. So you can't even really tell. It blends in really well, which is perfect. But anyway, so you're gonna do that, and then you're gonna do this all the way around. And if you keep grabbing the outside edge when you're doing it, you will always have you'll end up with a nice the only problem, it gets to be a pain in the butt when when you get more of these things on here, your snap points get to be a little more, I don't know, tricky, I guess is the word. So you remember, you're looking for, yeah, that's the one. You're looking for that. And then you want to put, you might be able to actually see it from here if you can get it to line up. There. So you want that. And then you just, again, snap your ceiling tile like that. And then get rid of this top wall and get rid of the other wall underneath after. And you're just going to keep doing that all the way around. Now, I'll keep you guys here for pretty much all of this one. I apologize if this makes the video a little bit long, but maybe somebody wants to see the entire process of this little area here. So I'm going to keep it like that and just keep going along. And that might do it there. Yep. So there's that. And hopefully we're going to end up right back over here. We're going to keep going on the exact same path. Oops. Just so that we can keep everything together. Now, you, like I said, if this was your top floor, you definitely want to try and do your pillars in a way that it's not going to mess up your floor pattern, because as you can tell, if this was a top floor, you're going to have this little zigzag pattern all the way along it, which, I mean, you know, maybe you want that kind of cool design. I mean, you got little crosses going through and everything, when it's done, everything's going to be interconnected, so it might look cool. We'll see. Yeah. And also, guys, just so that you know, I did, and I'm hoping I did it. There it is. Alright, I'm hoping I did this correctly. I think I did, because I'm all the way over here, and then I'm already on my way back. What I did down here was I put an extra pillar out underneath the main one we started on, just for like foundation support for building walls, which what that does is it should, I haven't even checked yet, you're gonna snap there, you're gonna snap there, yeah, it all snaps, so we're good. So what that does is give the extra fence support for snapping all the way around for your walls, so you should be good with that. So hopefully, like I said, we're almost home. We've almost got it. Ooh, see, that one didn't go to the right spot. This is where it might get a little tricky, because I don't know why, but it didn't snap. Yeah, see, that one doesn't want to snap. Yeah, see, they don't want to snap in the right spot, and that's gonna mess. What that's gonna do, guys, if you let that happen, is that's gonna mess up where it lines up. So maybe that's gonna be a pain. Let's try looking. see it. There it is. Alright, now for this, you want to make sure you're going to delete the correct one. So, if you look further over, you got that one. If you look close, you got this one. So hopefully, hey, look at that. Perfect. And connect that. So as we know, ARK trickery, I wouldn't necessarily call it trickery, but ARK pain in the butt. Snap points can just be a horrible, horrible thing in ARK. Alright, now we do this last one, and it should connect nicely. Now with this, it's hit or miss. We might get a perfect shape here, or we might get arced. It happens. Let me try this again. Yeah, it worked. Nice. Alright. This might just work out very nicely. Let's see. Take the ramp over here, and we'll try that. No. Oh, I think that might be it there. So, I don't understand why that gave me a lip. The other ones didn't do that. That's kind of... Yeah, hold on. Show me the right ceiling otherwise. Wrong ceiling here and we destroy the whole thing. So, do we just live with that little lip? Kicker is that the wall? Yes, the wall. I wonder if that attached to the wrong spot somehow. I hope that's the right one. Yeah, it was good. So, oops, no. How weird. Maybe it's just, yeah, I guess it's just gonna be. Well, I guess it's just gonna be that little lip there. Nothing I can really do about it. Oh well. So we got a little lip. It's gonna happen that way. And then if you guys ever want to plug up that hole, you could easily attach a ceiling tile in the middle and plug that hole up, or keep it for design purposes. Now, if this was your top floor, you could easily just snap another fence foundation and make the pattern look all the way across. This isn't my top floor, that's why I don't care. All I'm doing is to get the general shape for the edge of the wall here, which is going to be really nice. I'm going to go and get rid of those. Get rid of all those walls, if I can. And then there's going to be walls that are just going to be dragged right down into the seabed. I'm going to need to make a lot more walls. I underestimated it. I only brought like 200 and some walls, which this is maybe 200 walls will get me to do the base of this entire area, but we'll see. So anyways, this is on this end, and I'm going to do something very similar to this, or exactly like this, over at that end. I'm just not 100% sure where I want to put it over there. So, we'll leave this like this, and go from there. But I wanted to show you guys this little trick anyway, just in case you didn't know how to do it. So, I'm going to cut here, and I'll bring you guys back when I get some more work done.